online FTP, smart healthcare technology, opportunity and challenges. So this will be the flow for today's lecture where we will talk about the smart healthcare, where what is the role of IoT and ML in smart healthcare or AI particularly in smart healthcare that we are going to discuss. Okay. Then we talk about the models, then variable technology, emerging application, and finally we will conclude with the challenge. Okay. Now, what is traditional health? Okay. Now, when I consider a traditional healthcare, then in a traditional healthcare, then what happens that if person is admitted in a ICU, then you require a dedicated support staff who will take care of the patients. Okay. So that intensive care unit itself says that one dedicated staff will be take care of a patient 24/7. Okay. And sometimes the absence of that particular staff may lead to a loss of a life of that particular patient. Okay. Now, ultimately, if we look at the scenario, okay, that in a traditional healthcare system also, there are multiple stakeholders are there, and they are playing their role individually. What I mean to say that it is something like that if I am not feeling well, and for that I will visit the doctor. Now, most of the time, the doctor will ask me to go to a particular test. So I will go to some sort of clinical laboratory. I will perform the test and I will collect the report. Doctor will prescribe me the medicine. I will purchase the medicine from a medical store and then my treatment start. Okay. So now in traditional healthcare system, the stakeholder like doctor, clinician people, your medical store people, all are playing their role individually, but they are not talking with each other. And most of the time, being the patient, I have to act like a carrier where I have to pass the information from one end to the another end. Okay. However, when you are not well, okay, so at that time you want that hassle-free service. Okay. So everything should be available at your doorstep. Okay. So in a smart healthcare, what we want that all the stakeholders should connected with each other and they should share the information among themselves. Okay. So that is the motivation of towards traditional healthcare to smart healthcare. Now, IoT role is very important. So whenever I use the IoT in a medical domain or a healthcare domain, then I used to term that Internet of Medical. That is the IOM. Okay. So IOMT is the vast collection of the medical device and the connected healthcare related appliance which actually help to capture the information related to your health and it will allow you to store at a one particular cloud. Okay. So with this, what it will help? It will help to have a remote patient diagnosis. Okay. Then it can help us to have some sort of treatment, remote patient monitoring and screening. So all these things could be possible with the help of IoT. Now it is ultimately to provide some sort of value-added, affordable services which actually support the real-time healthcare mechanism. Okay, so why smart healthcare is important? Okay, so when I talk about IoT, then IoT is nothing but you consider there is a things. Okay, so you have a things. Okay, which is nothing but the variable sensor which actually generate the data from a patient. Now that data, whatever is being generated from a patient, they process through some sort of algorithm. Okay. And through that algorithm, you derive some decision out of it. Okay. So ultimately, in IoT, you collect the data from a sensor, which is a healthcare related data, which help for the patient treatment or a health condition monitoring. And ultimate objective is I want to have a disease prevention and early diagnosis. Okay. So my recovery period can start as early as possible. So ultimately, smart healthcare supports the continuous health monitoring, healthcare automation, automatic drug delivery, and it will also support the preventive healthcare mechanism. Now, what is the benefit of that? By having the IoT in your healthcare domain, it will improve your diagnosis and treatment. It will also improve the disease management mechanism. The cost at the patient is also decreased because nowadays means you can have a remote consultancy also, okay, teleconsultancy also, and telemedicine is possible. Okay, so you do not have to visit the doctor personally, but maybe through some sort of online platform you can connect with them. It will enhance the patient experience. The drug delivery mechanism is also improved, and it will help us to tackle the chronic illness. Okay, so chronic illness is an illness which gradually develop inside our body. Okay, so like a diabetes, cancer, blood pressure. So all these are a chronic illness. Chronic illness doesn't have any visible symptoms. Okay, so you will not get a fever, or maybe you don't have any kind of visible symptoms through which you can identify that there is a chronic illness which is being built up inside your body. But those can be diagnosed early by having a continuous monitoring mechanism. Okay, so I continuously monitor some of the parameters. It is something like that if I able to monitor the continuous glucose value, then definitely I could able to sense that at what point my blood glucose value is high, so I can take a precautionary mechanism so that I can avoid the diabetes. So IOMT having a four basic architecture. Okay, so first is you can consider data collection. Okay, so basically sensor is responsible to collecting the data, and whatever the data which is being collected, that basically pass from a patient to a cloud. Okay, so through some sort of network, it could be wireless or wire or Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, something like that, through which you store the data at the cloud. The data is being stored at the cloud. Now at the cloud, possibly you can have some sort of AI ML algorithm through which you are trying to derive some decision. And at the end, it is available at the end of the user to have some sort of value-added service. Maybe you can use for them for the treatment, or maybe you can use them for the remote monitoring, for whatever the purpose. But that is nothing but your final application layer, where at the user end it is available. Okay. So data collection layer is nothing but responsible of retrieving the patient medical parameter by having some sort of sensing and capturing capability. So it is having some sort of acquisition protocol where the data is collected from the source, and this data is the healthcare related data. So this data we used to term as electronics health record. This is EHR. That electronics health record is being generated. That whatever the data which is being generated in terms of the EHR, that is being transmitted to wired or wireless network to a data management. So this layer facilitates the delivery of the data to the data management layer for a further processing. Now data management layer is basically connecting hub of all the medical devices. Okay, so data management layer is just a cloud. Now at the cloud, there could be a case that from multiple sensors, the data is being collected. Okay, and sometimes I want to take a decision out of multiple sensors, and then I want to derive that a particular patient treatment plan, or maybe some sort of diagnosis can be possible. Okay, so where I can consider a multiple parameter and I derive a particular decision. So it enables the exchange of the data between the device and the employee's middleware application to ensure the seamless connection and integration among the various entities inside this layer. So this is a very crucial, you can consider the layer in your Internet of Medical thing, where you can store, process and interpret the data very easily. Now, application layer. So that is the final layer which focusing on enabling a smart IOMT system interaction, where you can actually get the access of the data, or you can get the access of some sort of decision out of your AI ML algorithm. So here you can easily connect and manage the medical device through application layer. So it is something like that if I want to control something. It is something like that let's say that I want to go for some sort of drug delivery mechanism. Now I have observed that patient glucose value is continuously remaining high. So now I want to basically insert the insulin inside the body. So through an application layer, maybe I can give the command to my insulin pump, and insulin pump will release the insulin inside the patient body. So that could be handled through an application layer. So it is basically for the user interface. It is there. So IOMT is having the ability to collect, analyze and transmit the healthcare related data. Okay. So which play a major role for transferring your traditional healthcare to a smart healthcare. Now for the patient and clinician, These applications are playing a very vital role tracking and preventing the chronic illness. Okay, for which you require a continuous monitor. Okay. Now IoT device in a various form are possible. So variable device is also there. There are some sort of implantable devices there, and there is some sort of supportive system which actually help us for a improvement of your healthcare. Now variable device is nothing but helpful to monitor and manage the chronic condition such as diabetes and hypertension, where through a variable device I continuously capture the parameter of my body. Okay, so that's why the variable devices are currently very popular. Now smart watches and fitness tracker are the main player in the variable device. Okay. Now another is an implantable device. Okay. When I say variable device, that variable device is popular because they are non-invasive. Okay. Where you wear them outside the body surface only. Okay. Where implantable device is something where you implant within the body. Okay. And it is something like a pacemaker. Okay. So pacemaker is nothing but to provide the electrical stimulus to your heart for a proper functionality. Maybe insulin pump, cochlear implant for the hearing. If there is some sort of hearing problem, then with the cochlear implant you can improve the quality of the voice of the surrounding environment. Okay, so implantable technology serve the purpose of monitoring and treating the medical condition of a patient. Okay, some of the implantable device like a pacemaker, implantable cardiac monitor, your glucose monitor along with the insulin pump, and your cochlear implant. Now pacemaker is one of the very important implantable device, okay, which basically implanted in your chest or abdomen to help the control the abnormal heart rhythm. Okay, so arrhythmia possibly means Vinod sir has also talked about this arrhythmia. So arrhythmia, that means nothing but irregular heartbeat. Okay, so we know that our heart should pump 70 to 80 times in a minute. Okay, so this 70 to 80 beats per minute is very much important. But if it is deviating, if it is too fast or too slow, then that condition is nothing but the arrhythmia. Okay, so pacemaker is nothing but the providing the electrical impulse so that your heartbeat becomes normal. Okay, now cyber physical system, it is very important. Okay, so usually when we talk about the cyber physical system, then it is nothing but some sort of hardware and software combination that basically we use if for a healthcare application, then we term that as a healthcare cyber physical system or a medical cyber physical system. Okay, now feature. What are the features of the S health? S is nothing but a smart health. Okay, so here what are the features of the smart health? So with the help of the smart healthcare technology, the doctor and patient can be connected with each other through a remote location. So that means telemedicine concept is possible in a smart healthcare. The continuous monitoring of the critical condition is possible. So in the first slide also we talk about the traditional health. For the ICU patient, to monitor the vital parameter is very important. And if there is some sort of deviation in those parameters, then you need to pay attention to that particular patient. Now, in a smart healthcare, we want this to be automated. Okay, so monitoring of the patient should be done automatically. Okay, by some sort of smart system. And if there is a change in a vital parameter, then it should give some sort of warning or some sort of alarm so that attention to be paid towards the patient health improvement. In a smart healthcare, you can have some sort of corrective action and quality of the care could be improved in a smart healthcare. In a smart healthcare, you can have a real-time access of the health record. So it is something like that. If I am sitting at my office and my parents are not well and who are at my home, then I can monitor their health condition from my office through some sort of application. And it is something like a virtually I am sitting in front of them and I am actually monitoring their health parameter. So the point of care service and medication is possible through some sort of intelligent consumer electronics. Now, what are the different attributes of the smart healthcare? Okay, so smart healthcare could be of a multi-function. Okay, So ultimately, I want that I want to measure as many parameters as possible from my body, but I do not want to wear that many number of sensors. Okay, so it is something like that. If I want to, let's say that measure the 10 parameter of my body, then it doesn't mean that I want to wear 10 number of sensors. But I want that a sensor should have a multifunctional capability. Okay, so one sensor could be able to measure the multiple parameters. So that's why smartwatches are very popular, because in a smartwatch, apart from showing a timing, it will allow you to measure the heartbeat, maybe your blood pressure. So everything, your pulse rate, everything is being measured by them. Okay, so that is one of the attribute always on. So that means the device should capable enough to measure the body parameter 24 cross 7. So it is something like that. If I am sleeping, still my body is working. At that time also, I want to observe the changes which happen inside my body. It should be connected always. So the data, whatever it is being captured by a sensor, it should be able to transfer to a cloud. The quality of the data is also important. It should not be specific to any location. It should work for a everywhere. So usually we want to have a portable device where I can perform my daily activity, and along with that also I can able to capture the important parameter. It should have a very good sensing capability. It should have a very good environmental and development platform. So all these are the attributes which I correlate with the smart health. Now, the next thing is how we can adopt such kind of smart healthcare mechanism in our day-to-day life. Okay. So one of the aspect is I can use some sort of ICT technology. Okay. So whenever I use the ICT, so even internet is also comes under the ICT. Okay. So whenever I use the ICT technology, then I term that as a e-health. Okay. So ICT in a healthcare is nothing but my e-health component. Okay. So telemedicine is one of the great examples. Okay, where I can connect with the doctor. Maybe I am sitting at my home. I have connected with the doctor and I got the some sort of tele-prescription so that I can start my preventive action as early as possible. M-Health. So M-Health is also one of the very important component where I use a mobile phone in my healthcare domain. Okay. So ultimately, the mobile phone is being used in our healthcare domain, then that is the M-Health component. And we consider that mobile phone is one of the most convenient way to reach out towards the people. Okay, I can send the message in a bulk. Okay, and possibly the easier way of accessing healthcare related data is nothing but through a mobile phone. Okay, so one of the M-Health application which is being developed in early days in 2014 by UNICEF developed it, and that application is M-Health. Okay, so that is basically for the Ebola crisis which occurs in the African region. So at that time, to send the public awareness message, UNICEF has developed this particular application. Even during the COVID also, we have used a Arogya Setu application. Okay, so that Arogya Setu is nothing but the M-Health. Okay, where through Arogya Setu I can book my vaccination slot, or maybe I can have a vaccination certificate, or even I can actually figure out that how many COVID patients are surrounding to me within a 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer area. So that could be possible. Okay. So through a M-Health, the rapid collection and sharing of the current data is possible. Public health and lifestyle message could be easily sent to a mobile phone. Medication alert can be also sent through a mobile phone easily. E-prescription could be generated through a mobile phone. Telemonitoring, which is one of the very vital part of the telemedicine concept, is possible with the mobile phone. And transmission of the test result to a patient could be possible. Okay. So we have observed that possibly when we want to give the sample to a clinic or some sort of laboratory, at that time we need to visit it. But in order to collect the report, I do not have to go to a laboratory. Okay. So that is accessible on my mobile phone through a WhatsApp, or maybe through some user ID and password. I can able to generate that digital copy of the report. Now, connected health. Connected health is a very important component of your healthcare, where I want that all the stakeholders of your healthcare domain should be connected with each other, and they send the information among themselves. So it is something like that. If doctor has prescribed me to perform some test, then that information should be available at a cloud, so I can directly visit the laboratory and the required test can be performed. Now, whatever the report which is being generated by a laboratory, so that is also easily available for a doctor. A doctor can easily view them and it can provide me the medicine. The medicine also available at my cloud, and I will just visit the medical shop and they will provide me the medicine. Okay. So all these things could be possible if we have a connected network. Now, that could become a reality even in our country also, because currently government has launched the ABHA scheme. Okay, so in ABHA there is a ABHA card, there is a specific unique ID is available for each and individual one. Now for that, along with ID, what will happen that all the medical records will be stored over there. Okay, so it is something like that. If I go to a medical shop and that ID is accessible by that particular medical shop keeper, and whatever the prescription is suggested by a doctor is available. Okay, for a laboratory people also this is possible, where the laboratory people can simply access the means prescription of the doctor and it could be easily visible. The biggest game changer of the connected health network would be a Mediclaim settlement. Okay, so currently what is the situation in India, that if you want to claim the medical insurance, then when you are admitted at a hospital, you need to inform the people so that anyone can personally visit and check your health condition, and then after having a physical verification, your medical claim is being passed. But if such kind of system is available, then what will happen, that hospital has entered all the details along with ABHA. Now, Mediclaim people can easily verify that data from that ABHA and easily settle down my medical insurance. Now, see, over here as a patient, as I told you, that I am only a carrier. So I could have a very limited access, like only a reading or viewing right only. Okay. But actual writing access is available with the hospital people, maybe the clinical laboratory people. So means the medical insurance company can easily verify and believe that data whatever being entered and prove it my Mediclaim could be passed. Okay, so that is a connected health net. Now there are various consumer electronic devices which are available, which is in terms of the patches, glasses, badges, rings, bracelet. Okay, so they basically help us to capture the important parameter in our daily life. Okay, so that means I am performing my daily activity. I am going to a hospital. I am going for a some sort of means, let's say that gathering, but still my vital parameter is being captured, and my data is being generated and stored at the cloud. Maybe at the end of the day, when I got free, I just observe those parameters and I can take the appropriate action for them. Now I will talk about the variable technology, okay, which is very important component to your smart health. Now, what is the variable technology? Variable technology is a technology which can be worn by a people on their body, could be either as a clothes or accessory. Okay, so it will actually help to track the health regularly. So regularly you can track your health. It will allow you to reduce the hospital visit and readmission. It is very important. Okay, because currently we are very busy with our work, our day-to-day daily life activity. We don't know when to consult the doctor. But actually, through such kind of variable technology, you can monitor or track all your vital parameter. And if there is a deviation that happens, then that gives you some sort of warning or alarm that you should now consult the doctor. as well as it will help us in terms of the hospitalization. It is something like that, that readmission is the biggest challenge. Okay, what do you mean by readmission? If I admitted to a particular hospital, then I got a discharge from the hospital, then within a certain period, usually it is considered to be a 1 month or maybe 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. Okay. So in that particular duration, if I admitted in a hospital for a same disease, then that is considered to be a readmission. And readmission should be avoided. Okay, we have seen that during the COVID itself, that possibly our country is having a very huge population. But to cater that population demand, we have a very limited health infrastructure. Okay, so for that, we should be ensure that a person when it is being discharged, then he is fully recovered. But how you can actually identify that? But with the help of the variable technology, definitely you can track the parameter and you can identify that where actually the discharging of the particular patient is possible. Now, such kind of variable technology is more popular after a post-COVID. So, if I look at the different variable technology, then fitness tracker and smartwatch are very popular. Okay. Apart from that, you have virtual reality headset, sleep tracker, smart clothing, smart eyewear, posture correction. So other kind of variable data, all are there. But fitness tracker and smartwatches are actually capturing around the 2/3 market. Now, variable or fitness tracker may be available in terms of the wristband. Okay. So there are many big players like Apple and Google. Okay. They are also now starting to focusing on a variable technology. Okay, because possibly after 2-3 years, the biggest market in a healthcare domain will be the variable technology. Okay, where we will be surrounded by a sensor, but definitely they will be very attractive. Okay, we would use that to monitor our health condition in a regular basis. So such kind of variable monitoring system can be useful for whom? So they can be useful for a people who are having the chronic illness, okay, like blood pressure, diabetes. So for them, the continuous monitoring is required. So such kind of variable technology is useful for them. For a preventive healthcare mechanism where you need to schedule your visit or some sort of regular some sort of monitoring is required. So variable technology can help us. Okay. Emergency care, hospital care, or other purpose also, the variable technology are used. IoT and variable technology are very much integrated into each other because through variable technology, you are generating the data or capturing the data, but they are ultimately stored at the cloud with the help of the IoT only. So real-time health monitoring is possible. Alerts and alarm to monitor the vulnerable patient health status is possible. So it is something like that. Some patient having a specific, you can consider the, because of some body structure or genomic structure, they have a tendency to be stuck in a particular illness frequently. So that is also being observed during the COVID. If you observe that some of the people, the COVID infection happens 2-3 times, and some of them even means they haven't actually been diagnosed with the COVID once. Okay, so for such kind of people, variable technology could helpful to monitor the important parameter. The patient-physician information sharing could be very easily possible with the help of the variable technology. And very important last one, social media sharing. Okay, so I can provide the health status, something very popular nowadays that if I am doing the cycling and then I am just capturing that how much kilometer I have actually covered through a cycle, or maybe how much step I have covered. So ideally it means we should cover 10,000 steps in a day. Okay. So how much steps in a day I have covered. So that also very easily I can share with the social media. So what are the pros and cons? So the good things about the variable technology is they can help us to monitor our fitness level, track our location. They are actually hands-free and portable. So I can move around and still I can able to capture the important parameter. They are being connected to the smart device. so that I can have a data and I can view it whenever I get free. Okay. It helps to set the goal and track your progress. What are the disadvantages? The first one is the battery life, and second one, which is very important to know, is it measures the data inaccurately. So that means whatever the data which is being generated by a variable technology, they are not reliable enough to take a decision for some critical condition. Okay. So that's why currently the technology is not that much of mature, but means whatever the focus that is being shifted right now, but for in the next 2-3 years, I am pretty much confident that variable technology will be matured and we will be using it in our day-to-day life practice for a critical decision making also. Okay. Now we will talk about some of the emerging applications, okay, which we can adopt for a personalized healthcare management in a smart healthcare. Okay. So one of the applications is an intelligent diet control. Okay. So that is very much important. Okay. Because what I am eating and what I should eat is very important. And if you are a diabetic patient, then definitely you need to pay more attention that what you should eat and what you should not eat. Okay. So for those, usually we consult a dietitian. Okay. Where means dietitian will ask us to follow some particular chart. But it would be very difficult to consult a dietitian for each and every individual food item task for my daily. Because I consume so many items in a day. So every time it would be not possible for me to consult the dietitian. So what could be done, that there could be some sort of mobile application. Now through that mobile application, you can just capture the picture of that food item and you just upload them. So what they will help us? They will help us to identify that what amount of the calorie that supposed to be consumed by having this particular food item. And if currently your glucose value is this, then after having this particular food item, the glucose value could be elevated to this one. So you can actually take a decision by your own only whether this is the right time to consume this particular food item or not. Or maybe if I consume this particular food item, then what would be my next diet plan? Okay. So in the morning, I have taken something, a very sweet item. Okay. And because of that, my glucose is elevated. Now, at the dinner, what should be the food item I should consume so that at the end of the day, my glucose level is in the balance. Okay. Apart from that, it will also help us to decide that how much exercise I need to perform so that I can burn out the calorie what is being generated from my food item. So all these help could be generated through a mobile app where you need to simply capture the picture and then that mobile app will help you to give some solution for it. Telemedicine we already talked about, where doctor and patient will talk, means this meet with each other through some sort of IoT platform. They will provide the teleconsultancy. Then you will have some sort of tele-prescription. You will go to some sort of medication and you take some preventive action. Again, you capture the important parameter. You share the doctor, and doctor will provide you the definitely some sort of prescription. So robotics will play a very crucial role in our healthcare domain. Okay. So even during the COVID period, we have observed that the drones are being used for a food delivery purpose. Even robots are being placed to have some sort of in some sort of hotel to mean serving the food, or maybe for the COVID patient data collection also, the robots have been used to collect the samples from a COVID patient. Okay. So robotics will play a very important role, okay, in terms of the healthcare domain and also to solve some of the societal issues. So robotics will play a very important role. So currently we are talking about the robotic surgery. Okay, even means Vinod sir has also talked about it. Okay, that robotic surgery is possible. Even there is a with the AR and VR also, the people are talking about the some sort of virtual surgery, okay, where patient is at some different location and doctor at different location, and through which the operation is being telesurgery is being performed. Okay, so this all thing is possible with the help of robotic technology. Industry 4.0 is also very important. Okay, it will allow us to decide that what is the requirement at a particular time related to the healthcare resources. Okay, even during the COVID second wave, particularly, which occurs in 2021 March, April, and May, at that time, you observe that there is a scarcity of the oxygen cylinder. Okay, and because of that, the many deaths have occurred. Okay, so now we should be prepared for that. Okay, now with industry 4.0, what I can do that I can forecast the exact requirement of a individual resources. Okay, according to the whatever the crisis condition arrives. Okay, so according to that, I can go for some sort of smart manufacturing and having some sort of smart transportation through which I can allow to reach a particular resources whenever it is required to a desired location. Okay, so industrial 4.0 will play a very important role in a healthcare domain. Then trusted food supply chain management. So it is also very important. Okay, now what I mean by that, trusted food supply chain management, that what I eat, I should able to recognize. Okay, so many adulterate or counterfeit foods items are available. Okay, so because means most of the people used to take a benefit out of it. Okay, so they used to sell the counterfeit food item. Even when we talk about a packed food item, in packed food item, you know that what is the expiry date. But when you talk about the fruits and vegetables, you don't know what is the expiry date. Okay, even means vendor also don't know what is the shelf life, that how much he has to keep in their store, and then they need to basically throw it out. So it is very difficult to identify. Okay, so there has to be some sort of trusted food supply chain management. So through which what will happen that whenever I am consuming a particular food item, so at the consumer end, I can simply scan that particular food item and I can have a total supply chain management of that particular food item. Like when a particular food item is being grown, when it is being transported, when it is being traded, and when it is available at the retail shop, and when I am consuming it at that present time, then whether it will help me to boost my immunity. Because after the COVID, we have observed that many food items are selling by having a promising that it will boost your immunity. But if you take the adulterate or counterfeit food item, then it will do a adverse effect. Okay, then instead of it is increasing your immunity, you are losing your immunity. Okay, so as a consumer, you should be aware about that. What should be a food item that you have to take it at the present time, and whether that particular food item is good enough to consume it. Another important revolutionary which happens in your healthcare domain is a digital twin. Okay. So digital twin is nothing but it is a representation of an object or quantity which mimic the performance of the real world. Okay, so it will act as like a human sensor which create the virtual copy of whatever you want to demonstrate. Okay, in a healthcare domain, it is very much important. Okay, because in a healthcare domain, whenever new medicine or new vaccination is come out, so you need to complete the trial. Okay, now most of the time trial you cannot perform on a directly human being. Okay, so you used to have a trials on some sort of means live animal like rat or cat or something like that. Okay, and you do your experiment, you observe the result, and then if you find out it's good enough, then you start the clinical trial on your human. Okay, so this also takes somewhat time, and even after means completed the clinical trial, you need to also observe the long-term impact of that particular vaccination or medicine on a human body. So it would be very difficult to predict in a limited time duration. Okay. So basically, in that case, the digital twin could help. Okay. In a digital twin, you can actually manufacture some parameter and you can also observe the long-term impact of a particular vaccination or a medicine on that particular object. Okay. So modeling and a digital twin is two different concepts. When I say modeling, it is nothing but a simplified representation of the system. But digital twin is nothing but a virtual replica of your physical system or object, which you can continuously update. Okay. And models is nothing but representing the fixed snapshot of a system, while digital twin will reflect the current state and behavior of your physical entity. Okay. That model is basically useful for the analysis, prediction, and simulation purpose, while digital twin can help us for a monitoring, control, decision making, and it can also help us for a real-time management of any particular physical asset. Models are basically isolated from the system that they are represented, while the reflecting or dynamic nature can be adjusted in your digital twin. In that sense, you can actually observe the long-term impact out of it. Okay. While model can help you to just observe the current impact of whatever the input agent which is being provided to. So role of the digital twin in healthcare is basically for a personalized medicine. So that is very important. Okay. So always when we want to go in a AI, in a healthcare domain, then the advantage will be the personalized medicine. Okay. Whatever suits for me according to my body and genomic requirement, I should get that particular medicine. Okay. Because most of the time doctor will provide the symptom and according to them, they will provide the generic medicine. But sometimes it works for me, or maybe it is working from some X person, but it is not working for me. Why? Because my body structure is different. So if you create a model or you train a model from your own body data, and definitely the prediction out of this model is accurate for your own treatment. Okay. So that's why the personalized medicine could be very important. That could be achieved in a healthcare domain through AI. Disease prediction and prevention is possible in a healthcare domain. Treatment optimization and remote monitoring. So all these things can be achieved with the help of digital twin. Now currently very much focus area is to develop a digital twin of the heart. Okay. So currently we have observed that the instance of the cardiac arrest or a heart attack has increased drastically. Okay. Even it is now observed of a very young age also. Okay. So basically for that the cardiac arrest occur because there is some sort of misfunctionality happen inside your heart. Okay. Now, if we can have a digital twin of the heart, then what will happen that I can place that artificial heart inside my body and it will perform the functionality forever. So at least with the help of the digital twin of the heart, nobody can die with the heart attack. Okay. So currently many researchers are doing the research of developing a digital twin of a heart. Finally, I will discuss about the challenges which we are going to face in our smart healthcare domain. Okay. So one of the important challenges is data privacy and security. Okay. In a smart healthcare, we are using the IoT. Okay. Where sensors are capturing the data and it is being stored at the cloud. Now something which is available at the cloud, then the data is considered to be a very static position where it is more vulnerable. Okay. So at that time, your security and privacy is very important. Okay. Because if my personal data is being stored, then I want to ensure that it should be visible to me or maybe my doctor or my caretaker. Okay, it should not be visible to all the people. So currently with the IoT devices, there are lacking of the substantial protocol and standard which actually help us to manage this data privacy and security issue. Okay, because currently we have seen that the cyber crimes has increased very rapid way. Okay, and when we talk about the in a smart healthcare, where data is being stored and electronic health record is being stored in a digital form, then definitely means there is a threatening of a cyber crime over there also. Okay, and maybe if data manipulation is happened, then out of that data, whatever the decision which is there, that could be a wrong, and we are dealing with the life of the people. So which is very important over here. Data privacy and security is very important, which has to be addressed first. Okay. Then you need to also talk about security and privacy of the variable device. Okay. So it is something like the sensor which is actually capturing the data. But I am talking about now the authenticity of that particular sensor, whether that sensor is genuine or not, or maybe somebody has placed its own hardware and through which the data is being generated. Now, data, whatever is being stored at the cloud is good enough, but source of the data, the sensor itself is being compromised. Okay, so that is very much important. The hardware security of the medical devices are very imperative. Okay, data integrity is very important. Okay, that whatever the data which is being generated through that particular sensor. So sometimes you would like to have a multiple sensor data. Okay, and that you fuse it and then you take a decision. So at that time, the data integrity is also very important. The cloud security and privacy we already discussed is important. Access control and authentication. Okay. So to whom I want to allow to see this personal data. So I do not want to announce that I am suffering from some particular disease. Okay. So it is very private and personalized information. So I want to share it with the very limited people. So there has to be a proper mechanism of the authentication. So only authorized users should be able to view the content of that particular. So access control is also one of the very important aspect of my data. And power management. Okay, so power management is also one of the very important aspect. Okay, because I want that data should be captured 24/7. Okay, and most of the time when I use the variable device, then they are portable device. So portable device is mostly battery operated. Okay, so I want that battery should last long so that I can capture the data throughout my day. Even I am sleeping at that time also my body is working. So at that time also that means the sensor is generating a data. Data is being captured. So the device should be able to capture the data all the time. So for that the power management is very important. Okay. So we should have a focus about the battery life of a variable device, and also we need to think about that at what time you want to have some sort of information which is being required. Okay, so that energy saving mode will allow us to actually boost the life of a battery. Interoperability, that is also very important aspect. Okay, so when we talk about the IoT network, and when we use that IoT network in a healthcare domain, then we term as an Internet of Medical Things, that is an IOMT. So okay, so over there are so many devices are being connected with each other. So that is the heterogeneous network. Okay, so there are so many devices are being connected with each other. Now, it is not necessary that all devices are being manufactured by a single manufacturer. So it could be a case that I have an Apple Watch. Through Apple Watch, I want to control a device which is being developed by a Samsung. So now it is a protocol breach because that Samsung watch may not allow, or particularly that Samsung device may not allow an Apple Watch to control the things. But in a healthcare domain, this may require. Okay, that if I want to control from the application layer, then there is an end device, end user device is having a different vendor, and whatever the sensor which is being manufactured, that is being basically generated by a different vendor. So there has to be some sort of common protocol where all should exchange the data in a seamless manner. Okay, so as an end user, I want a seamless connection among all my individual node which is being existed in my IOMT network. So for that, the interoperability is very important aspect. So finally, the ICT and IOMT have played a crucial role, okay, along with AI to development of the smart healthcare from your traditional healthcare meeting. Your intelligent algorithm and machine learning would definitely transform the life where the decision making will be quicker. You can have a personalized medicine concept, and through which the more better way you can actually diagnose the disease, or even the early diagnosis or prediction is possible for most of the disease. Okay, the smart healthcare system is definitely having the some sort of, you can consider the challenges in terms of the privacy, security, interoperability, power management. Okay, so that has to be addressed, and as I said that many players are working on it. Okay, so it is something like that this smart healthcare system will be mature in next 2-3 years, and definitely after 2-3 years we will be using it very happily. We have more confidence on it, and we will take a better decision for our healthcare related parameter in future. Okay, so with this I am stopping it over here, and I welcome the question which is there from your end. Let me check the question. If you have, you can type the question. If you have any specific question, then possibly we have a 2-3 minutes. Any question, then please you can type in the chat box. If you want, then you can raise your hand. If admin allow, then you can speak with me also, or better than you type your question. Okay, it seems that there is no question. Okay. Now, possibly the next session will be start shortly, but before that, there are few announcements. See, your quiz will be on Sunday. Okay, so Sunday on a canvas, morning 9 a.m. to evening 9 p.m. 12 hours is there, inside which you can give your quiz. But quiz will be of 15 minutes only. Okay, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. in between. Any time for a 15 minutes, definitely you can spend it, and you can give the quiz at Canvas. I again mention, if you are not joined in a Canvas, then request to join through Canvas. Okay. Just a minute. I am just getting a call from our expert of our next lecture. Huh, sir? We will start our next session in 5 minutes at 6:05. Okay. So we have 5-minute break. Our expert has already joined. Okay. So we will start our next lecture. So you have a 5-minute break now. Like 6:05, we can start it. Kuldeep sir, maybe you can share your screen.
Yes, I'm sharing.
And before that, I think we can end the session. Kuldeep sir, just give us 2 minutes to have some local arrangement, because we need to end the session.
Okay, fine. I'll be waiting. No problem.
So we will start in 5 minutes, sir. Okay. करके नेक्स्ट सेशन फोटो पे यूट्यूब पे करना है। म्यूट करो